Today we're offering up the cheesiest of the cheese information for you guys for Theater Mechanicus, so you guys can tackle the hardest parts, launching today with all the information and knowledge about this event. So we're going over the cheesiest towers and the cheesiest characters and some of the cheesy techniques. We're very extra cheese today in Theater Mechanicus. So let's go with first off, as you can see, the strategy, the go-to for me, it's crowd control. You're using the hydro or the cryo or even both of these structures. This is going to allow you to apply freeze to your enemies, and then you're going to be using the Pyro Inferno Mechanicus to damage them and melt them, and then you can refreeze them again. It is very efficient and very, very strong. It is harder to pull off in earlier rounds, but thank goodness for the way that this event was designed. We have the Recovery Mechanicus. This is going to be your guys' go-to. If you haven't leveled this up yet, level it up. It is very good. It's very cheap. It only costs 50 points to put down. And when using this sort of crowd control team composition, you're going to be able to keep them inside that ring. You're going to be getting bonus points over time. Now, it does take up one of your slots for the different kind of Mechanicus that you can place down. But once it's filled its sort of use, you can destroy it. Or if you get really lucky, there's a stage effect that you can gain access to between rounds that makes things take 150% increased damage while within its vicinity. If you get that one, you're keeping it. It's a big keeper. It is very, very powerful because it turns into the Mysticus Mechanicus that isn't even unlocked yet. We'll get into that once the hard stage actually is released here. Now, the other stuff that you guys can make use of here, do not forget about the Dust Devil, because you can knock things off of the platforms on certain stages. This is very powerful in a lot of certain stages, especially with those stages that have the ones that I like to call the fast boys, the little tiny guys. The big guys you can't knock off with this one, but the little tiny dudes, they go full frontal assault. They get through your stages and your defenses. You can have this one put up on a platform, have it put up on a bridge, and you can actually blow things off the bridge there with that. Also, do not forget about the mine. No one's really using the mine. It's very, very, very good to fix your mistakes. One guy gets through your defenses. You can plant a mine. It's very low cost, costs 10 points. It's gonna set it, blow them up, forget it. It's very, very, very strong. Also, keep in mind the way that you're going to be building these different cryo pillars and hydro pillars and the pyro pillars is going to be different based on which sort of difficulty that you're on. Some of the stages you're going to be attacked from multiple locations. Some of the stages are going to have the location swap for you, like on stage 4. It's just going to take a little bit of hit or miss, but make sure that you have access to the hydro or the cryo. You don't necessarily need both right away, and let's go over that right now. You guys have seen in the background footage, there are some cheesy things that you guys can do with the characters you own in Theater Mechanicus, because you can't damage them, but you can definitely interact with them still. You can apply your elements, you can apply blockades with your geo characters. It's very, very, very good. So if you're using this sort of free setup, you can use a Hydro Mechanicus and then use a cryo character like Ganyu, like Diona, to apply the cryo element to them to then get your freeze off on demand. You use Changyu. So keep in mind that you guys can also interact with them that way. And there's just a bunch of characters that you can use to abuse this. So Ganyu is very good at applying AoE cryo. That's gonna go very well with the AoE hydro. So you can apply basically freeze on demand for you there. Jean is very good for a lot of situations here. So she's very applicable in doing a lot of things. She can save you from enemies that got through your blockade a little bit. You can knock them back into it. You can also make sure that if you're in the early stages, you're keeping things in that recovery area of effect, right? They don't make it to it. You can actually go up there and knock them into it, give them a little bit of boost so they die inside of it. You get those bonus points so you can acquire your Mechanicus faster earlier in the waves. Also, just like we talked about the Gust Mechanicus, you can use her to just throw things off the sides of cliffs as well. So incredibly, incredibly powerful character there inside this event. Two other characters that are very, very strong, Zhongli and the main character here, I almost named myself. The main character and Zhongli, they can construct very difficult constructs to have the enemies get through. And if you use them in conjunction with each other, you can pretty much build a wall. It's pretty good. It's pretty powerful. You guys have seen it rolling in the footage. If not, I'll have it rolling right now. It is very strong, especially on the bigger enemies that have big HP bars. You can sort of utilize this inside your hydro and cryo setup. So they get frozen, they get melted, they are unfrozen for a second, they're like, oh, a wall, and then they get frozen again, and it's very, very, very abusable. On top of that, you guys can also interact with your abilities if you have buffs or debuffs. So with the Zhongli buff from 1.3, as you can note, while next to enemies with his shield, they actually do have that 20% resistance down penalty. So make sure that you're utilizing things like that if you have access to those different types of characters. Those are the 4 most abusable characters for this in Genshin Impact inside the Theater Mechanicus. But if you don't have these 4, although you do have the main character, you can substitute, right? If you're using a melt team like we are right now, you don't have Ganyu, go get Diona. Maybe Kea can help you out a little bit there. Changyu is very good with his field. Just start auto-attacking things inside your field, keep them locked down in the recovery field. There's a lot of options for you guys out there to play around with inside of Theater Mechanicus. It's very, very, very powerful. And those characters are definitely the 4 most abusable characters for Theater Mechanicus, but there are some stand-ins, especially if you're just using them, right? You need a cryo character to apply cryo early on for your freeze, or maybe you can use a hydro character to apply hydro, but using the cryo sort of setup there. These are very, very powerful. The damage turret that you're really looking to do the most damage with, like we talked about, is the Inferno turret. This has 5,750 attack. The range on it's pretty good too, so as you saw during the gameplay footage, you kind of can put that one in the back a little bit there. It's very, very strong. The base attack speed is a little bit lower than something like the Furious Discharge, a little bit slower, but we like that. Why? Because we're freezing them, and then the fireball is coming in and doing the damage, and then it gets melted, and then they refreeze them, and it gives us some time to kind of sit and think and breathe and get everything all smushed together there. So some things that you're looking for during the intermission between each event, you're looking for things that increase the Inferno's, not attack speed really, but damage straight up. Elemental Mastery is actually really good to pick up there, that 100 Elemental Mastery, because we are melting. We are melting in this team. You can melt off the Glacial Bloom. You can melt off of the freeze itself. You can even vaporize off of just a hydro target, although 99% of the time everything's just gonna be frozen anyway, so keep that one in mind there. The other ones that you're looking for, really, you want to level these up, guys. Go back if you're having trouble in the stages, level them up, get their abilities. It just run it through a couple more times, you'll be good to go. Slowing enemy movement speed is very strong here. And then bubbles. Bubbles are very, very good. You can pick an enemy up, it's gonna get bubbled, and then you'll hit it, it's gonna get frozen, and then it'll get melted, and then it'll get bubbled again. You guys are seeing the gameplay in the background. So let me know down in the comment section below what sort of strategies you guys have been using. Look forward to the hard mode guide as well later today. I wanted to get the basic information out there. I've been doing this all weekend, and this is my favorite way to get through this event. It's very, very powerful. Make sure you leave that like, hit that comment down there so the algorithm knows that we're alive on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next one.